Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
And tomorrow, also I want to announce that Brad's in the house. Brad, we spoke a lot about Ripple yesterday, and we've got also Satvik from Circle as well on stage. Would love your take on what's going on, man.
Hey, GM.
Well, I'll go Brad first. Go ahead, Brad.
Okay. Well, thanks for letting me join in. I'm a crasher and just mostly a listener here. I think, like a lot of people, I was maybe surprised. I think there had been a lot of noise in the industry about FTX and Alameda, but still was quite surprised how quickly things unfolded. So, hard to know what are all the facts right now, at least for me, and following along. I think it's shit for the industry for sure. I did speak to Sam last Wednesday, I guess, in the kind of like, hey, how can the industry help? The one thing I'll say about that is just some of the things that were being tweeted and some of the things he said on the phone didn't match, which made me feel like kind of using the Elon Musk, my bullshit meter just kind of was going off. But I don't have any great, brilliant insights. I think that the one big unknown that I think we should also be watching for and careful about is it clearly will be a call to action for segments of regulators who are going to say that, like, this is what's wrong with crypto, when in reality, this isn't a crypto-specific problem. And in fact, as I think people here or people on Twitter anyway have commented, the SEC was actively meeting with Sam, and in some ways it really isn't that dissimilar than the SEC spending all their resources on things that aren't a problem and completely missing the Bernie Madoffs, and in this case, what appears to or is alleged to be pretty egregious. And I think the likelihood is, unfortunately, Sam's going to end up in jail, or what some will say fortunately, but whatever.
Hey, Brad, do you want to talk about the SEC case? Give us an update.
Sure. I mean, everything that people are kind of talking about, I think it's pretty up to date. The motions for summary judgment will be fully briefed by the end of November. And, then it's before the judge. I remain, the library case, I think people are saying various comparisons. And it doesn't really compare, both in terms of their legal strategy and the facts. There's a whole bunch of things that, are just very, very different about them. And so, I think that gave the SEC something to crow about. I will also say, and maybe there's people on this listening right now, I mean, to get 14 amicus briefs in support at a district court level, like, it's unheard of. We were trying to find, it might actually be unprecedented, but when this whole shit show started with the SEC, I think I tweeted out, in December of 2020, that this was an attack on the whole industry and not just an attack on Ripple. And I think, candidly, a lot of people called bullshit, like, that's not true. And I think it's been really refreshing to see the industry kind of come around to understand that, like, this, how important this is. And so I could give a thanks to all those out there that have been supportive and kind of seen that come around.
Hey, Brad, how do you mark XRP on Ripple Labs' balance sheet? Is it market?
Zero.
You mark it 0.
It's 0. It's not on our balance sheet.
Is that what you think how it should be done with all these companies?
I don't know. I mean, like, again, facts and circumstances, and I don't want to opine on how other people should do it. Ripple has no debt. For all intents and purposes, we've never had any debt. We've got $1 billion of cash. So
who owns the XRP in Treasury for Ripple Labs? Which entity owns the XRP?
Well,
that you have on the Treasury?
Yeah. Ripple Labs, the parent company. All the things I just said with regard to Ripple Labs, the parent. So, where it sits in a particular subsidiary or something like that for structural reasons, is kind of irrelevant for that purpose. But
does it get factored into your equity value when raising finance, the number of XRP on the balance sheet?
Well, we haven't raised. I mean, that's not a question for me to answer, right? Because I'm not the investor. It's just somebody coming in to invest in Ripple would make a determination on all the assets that Ripple has. We have a rapidly growing business. We own a bunch of cash. We've invested over $500 million in over 60 companies across the crypto space. some XRP related, some having nothing to do with XRP. So, I'll let others opine on that. We haven't raised money in a long time. The last private money we raised was at a $10 billion valuation in 2019, I think. I think that's right.
Yeah, full disclosure, I'm actually one of your shareholders, you may not know. But from a long time ago. But the XRP on the company balance sheet across the whole group is marked at 0. It doesn't factor in. How do you account that asset? Well, because you do sell a lot of those XRP, right? Those are sold into the market.
We sell some only to customers. And if you're paying close attention, we repurchase the vast majority of what we sell. And when we sell it, then it's marked at the price it's sold. That's revenue from an accounting point of view. But look, I think for me, as I just step back and look at what's going on in the industry, Ripple has always taken a very, very, very transparent view. I mean, I don't know when we started doing a quarterly XRP markets report. I don't know, 5-6 years ago. And I think whether it's FTX, whether it's a whole bunch of other examples, I think all of us could work on transparency. And some of the haters and some of the FUD that gets spread around, it's don't live in glass houses, right? Some of the stuff I see said in contrast, where I think even talking about this openly about how much XRP we have sold to customers, how much is repurchased, we put it all out there, like it's all transparent. And that's not because we have a regulator telling us to do that. It's because we think it's the right way to run a business.
And what percentage of the revenue is XRP sales?
It's a significant percentage. I don't know that we've ever publicly broken that out. Again, the point I would make, just because the nature of the question is, we repurchased the vast majority of XRP. So this is not we're very long-term bullish on XRP. This is not hey, let's sell as much XRP as fast as we can. It's almost, the opposite. But
repurchasing, what's the purpose of that? Because isn't that, would that cause some market manipulation issues?
No, well, I mean, I guess I don't know. The conversation has gone from hey, how do we make the industry more healthy to could that be market manipulation? I mean, sorry, Brad. I don't know what the fuck. On you, but I'm literally calling in, being totally transparent about exactly what we're doing. Everything I just said, we've been public about it. It's in our XRP markets report. The point I was trying to make,
this is the day when we're asking the tough questions. So.
Apologies, Brad. We've asked just to give you first hats off for coming on stage, and just asking the tough questions. But I appreciate you answering them.
No, I don't even view it as tough questions. My point is, you can go read that, right? I'm not. You don't need me to even I didn't read our XRP markets before getting up here, so I can't cite the exact data. But frankly, it was Sunday morning, and I just decided to dial it. I was paying attention to Twitter, and was like, oh, I'll listen in. So. Anyway, look, I think what has gone on in transparency helps everybody. Transparency is our friend, and that is true. It has been at the core of blockchain technologies, and I think there's just a lot of companies that have acted, kind of not consistent with that. And I think the more we can be transparent, the better.
I've got one more question quickly for you.
Sorry, one more area. What advice would you give to the companies that have large token value on their balance sheet? How do you think they should manage selling those tokens without causing issues when they're trading against their consumers or manipulating prices? How do we stop that?
Transparency. Look, I mean, there's a kind of well retweeted clip of me on stage with Joe Lubin at the World Economic Forum a few years ago. And, frankly, Joe's going after me about some of the same questions you're asking me. And I said, wait a minute, Joe, how much ETH does Consensus own? He wouldn't answer. How much ETH that has Consensus sold? He wouldn't answer. So look, transparency is our friend. And I think I would challenge the whole industry just to be more transparent. Whether you are Consensus and you own a lot of ETH, and I think to this day we don't know how much, or you're a project like Library that just has one. You are the token. I think transparency is our friend.
Brad, I wonder if you would be as transparent if you weren't regulated in the United States. I think it's all good and well to say, transparency is our friend. When you're living in a jurisdiction where, if you're not transparent, then that could count against you. But the truth is that, many of these token companies are established in jurisdictions that aren't very regulated, in the BVIs, in the Canary, I don't know, there's all these little islands. How much of that is because you're forced to, and how much of that is because you think it's the right thing to do?
Well, look, I mean, we're a private company. We're not forced to do. When I talk about the XRP markets report, and again, we started that. I think it was in 2016, maybe it was 2017. We're not required to do that. We're choosing to do that. We chose to do that a long time ago because we embrace this is the right way to run a business, not because any regulator told me that.
And the question I have for you, Brad, I couldn't unmute earlier, and I've asked this for every person we consider to be a leader in the space. We have a lot of regulators listening. We could have a notable regulator as a special guest tomorrow. What would be your message to them, considering all the eyes on crypto at the moment?
Well, I think I guess my first word, let's make sure we understand what problem we're trying to solve, and I think some things are getting conflated. So the problem that Ripple has been focused on for the industry, really because of the SEC's actions, has been, let's be clear about what is a security, what is a currency. Let's make sure that different parts of the U.S. government aren't contradicting themselves. Other countries have led the way on that. As I said earlier, I worry that the FTX drama and, just general shit show will draw, it'll be used kind of against the industry in a way. It's like, no. I mean, this isn't that different than a Bernie Madoff situation in some ways. I guess allegedly, I don't know the facts, and I don't really think I have much proprietary information that people in this call don't already have. So, my first thing would just be, let's just be clear about what problem are we trying to solve. And if in fact FTX US is solvent, as SBF has tweeted, maybe actually U.S. regulations worked in this situation. And it's other geographies that need to be more aware of their financial regulations.
Yeah, Brad, you may not have seen it. FTX US is in Chapter 11 now.
Oh, I did not see that. Sorry.